Hi guys, I'm back again with yet another video, another market breakdown. So it's a Sunday, the market is closed, right? So we'll be taking advantage of that as well, analyzing the market when it's not moving, right? So on my right, guys, or if you did not watch the previous video, please do check it out. And also the previous market breakdown, because you can see how I go on about the market and also how this setup keep playing out, because I was actually reviewing like the results from the past week, right? And the analysis most likely played out except for NAS 100 from the previous market breakdown, right? So let's get here, guys. We're gonna go over these instruments. On my right, as you can see, on this one there is no USD pair because I've already analyzed anything else. So I came up with these ones because they are the ones that have clear structures and have something that you guys that we can work with, right? So I'm gonna start on the GER30, right? So on DEX, guys, also called DEX, right? So as you can see, we have that high over there, right? And then what I also saw here is that we kind of like in an ascending channel, which is this is what's going on. But from the weekly time frame, it looks like a rising wedge. Looks like a rising wedge. If we can just quickly go to the weekly time frame, this is how it looks like. So if that candlestick holds true, that we might be looking at an imminent retracement over there, because you can see higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So with a higher high. However, if it continues, then it will probably wanting to come up all the way to cover that resistance to reject off from, right? So now let's quickly go back to the daily. So on the daily, this is what's going on. We have this daily high, right? As you can see on this rising wedge, we have this first touch, second and third touch over there, right? But it does not necessarily mean that the market will drop. And then if you also look at it from this picture, this is the impulse move. So we are in a corrective phase. So we might be looking at the possibility of GER30 being a sell all the way to the downside, right? So we're also looking there at the possibility of what could be a double top, the way I see it, but we're gonna go inside now so that we can understand what's going on, right? So now that we're on the 4-hour time frame and then we understand what's going on, meaning that higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So we're looking at the next higher low, right? But now on the 1-hour time frame, now that we know what is it that we're looking for, right? Depending on the daily time frame, which you're gonna see on Monday. Then this is what is going on currently, because it's important to focus on the current price. As you can see, the market now moves like in a way that's confirming that we will eventually get the sales. But as you can see here, we had a rising wedge, which is an ascending, no, it's not a rising wedge. It was an ascending channel at the top of that trend line and that daily resistance level. As a result, the market rejected the, and then it went back up again because it completed the 90% of this pattern, right? Because that's how the patterns work, guys. So most of the times, don't be surprised by the fact that when the market reaches the lowest low of its pattern, it tends to reverse. So because that's how patterns work, right? So now we are looking at the possibility of the same thing happening here, but now all the way to the downside, right? Because if you look at this carefully, this is an impulse move. So we're in a corrective phase right now. So we know that after every impulse move, we get a correction. And then if you remember, guys, I did speak about the fact that if the market give you a correction, after a correction, most of the times when something like this happens, the market tends to be a sell, because this, you can also see that this looks like an emerging double top, right? So now that we're here, what is it that, in other words, you're looking for on GER30, right? So we see that we have this ascending structure and an ascending structure. right? So we're gonna go to the lower time frame so that we can understand what's going to happen. So it may not necessarily sell all the way down currently, right? Because we also have this minor level that we will need to be on the lookout for, right? So let me see, right? So what could happen on GER30, right? DEX could push down on Monday and then go back there to give us another touch of this resistance for it to completely give us the sells to the downside. But we're going to go on the 1 hour time frame so that you can clearly understand what is it that is going on over here, because we have a pattern now inside the pattern. So as you can see, guys, in as much as this is a corrective phase, which is this, in as much as it is a corrective phase, but for as long as we're still playing inside this channel, at the supporting trend line, we're still looking for buys. At a resisting trend line, we're still looking for what? For sells. So GER30 on probably Monday, because you can also see that this is a head and shoulder, which is we have patterns now inside patterns. So what I think will happen here, the market could come here, go all the way to the top, and then sell from there, meaning that it will complete this structure, which is first, second, third. So it will be just giving us a fourth touch at that resistance, right? And then you would also understand why, in a sense, that this is an impulse move. So this might be a correction. So it might just want to come here, right? Which is complete this continuation pattern, so that it can also give us that leg over there before we can eventually get ourselves to the downside. So all I'm looking for at GER30 is short-term sells, the short-term sell, also a short-term buy, but in overall, we would like to see GER30 pushing up to give us the overall sells that we are looking for, right? So if you go on the 15-minute, it's just clear for me that it will most probably sell, but we need to look at what's going to happen at the supporting trend line. Is it going to confirm the fact that it's an impulse move correction, then go back up before you can actually give us the sells? Or is it just going to break down all the way to complete the 90% group? Because if you look at this impulse move correction, so we might get the next impulse there. But right, we're still looking for buys at the supporting trend line, because this is still an ascending channel unless it breaks out, right? Then that's how we're going to know that the market is going to be a sell to the downside, right? So let's move on now to the next pair, which is CADJPY. So on CADJPY, I saw a descending channel here as well. Right, so we have let me see. All right, if we drag it all the way down, we have, this is what's going on here, right? I'm not gonna have a trend line at the top, but you can also see that we have this descending channel that you see over there. Right, we have this descending channel that you see over there, and also that one. Okay, so let's go now to the 4-hour time frame. So now that we're on the H4, we're gonna look out for what's happening inside this playground that we have built for ourselves, and this being our low, right? It's just to minimize, guys, confusion and just focusing on the current price so we can have a clear indication of what is it that is going on here, right? So, okay, alternatively, we can just have it like that. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So now that we're here, so overall, we're in a bearish trend, right, on CADJPY. And then we can see at some point that this is the previous level of resistance that has been respected by the market, right? So what could happen here? We could see CADJPY pushing up before actually being a sell in this manner or in this form, right? Despite the fact that we also need to respect that trend line, right? But we're looking at the possibility of what the market could do, because anything can happen, right? So we need not to marry ourselves to a bias, but to learn to be objective, to see the market in all different type of ways, because there's no wrong or right when you are analyzing, right? But you're just looking for a pivot point where you can get yourself involved, right? So But if we're trading it off of this level that we see over here, we're going to highlight what's the possibility and also what's the probability. So we can see that we're in a descending channel. This is the 4-hour high, right? This is the recent high, right? So this is not a high, sorry, that's a 4-hour level. This is the a minor level also inside this pattern, that this descending channel, right? This descending trend. Okay, so let's go to the 1-hour time frame. So now that we're on the 1-hour time frame, but we need to be careful. We need to be careful here, guys, right? So as you can see now, the significance of this level, because okay, it was broken here, it was support, resistance, K sharp. It was not necessarily respected that much over there, but as you can see here, rejected for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times, right? So we have that resisting trend line, we have this horizontal level, okay? So we can just highlight maybe this previous low and also that one over there. So if we go now there, so we can understand what's going on. So if I can just look at it from what's going on here currently, we would like to see CADJPY going all the way down or furthermore to the downside, right? So that's the first scenario, being also confirmed by the fact that that's a correction over there, meaning that we have this small lack of a impulse in the impulse move. So this is a correction, so we'd like to see CADJPY going all the way down in that type of manner, right, as a sell. So that is why the market would sell. At least we have like 3 confluences, meaning that we have this resistance, sorry, over here. So this is the resistance that we have over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th time, right? So that's the first, then we're in a bearish trend, so that's the second, and then we have this correction, which is impulse move correction. So that's a third confluence point that we can use as to why the market could be a sell. And then if you look at that candlestick over there, that's a bearish engulfing candle. So if it all goes accordingly, then I would say CADJPY, we're looking at the possibility of it being a sell. For me, this is why I think CADJPY would be a sell based off the confluence points that we have just outlined over here, right? So this is why I think CADJPY could potentially be a sell. However, if we are wrong, right? If we are wrong, because we have to look at it from all perspectives. So this is just a minor level, right? So what could happen here, because remember we have that resistance over there. If you treat this like this could be an impulse. Then this might just be a corrective phase for the market to continue, go to the upside, so that it could actually reject there before actually coming to the downside, right? So that is why that is what would invalidate the sells in CADJPY. But overall, it's just to see what's going to happen. But yeah, anything can happen, guys. We just need to learn to be objective when you analyze the market. Try to look at it from different perspectives and scenarios, right? And follow what ends up happening out of your scenarios. So then you'll never go wrong if you do that. Even when you lose, you won't necessarily take it emotionally or everything, because you would have done all the diligence work, right? So without wasting time, let's go to AUDCHF. So we're gonna start on the daily as well on AUDCHF. So on the daily time frame on AUDCHF, all right, so this is what we have. I'm just gonna focus here, right, because we broke out of this structure. But there's something that was unclear to me when I was filtering this piece out, because as you can see, like I said, that we have broken out of here. This is impulse move correction. We got a nice inverse head and shoulders over here, and then we also need to consider the fact that this could be a neck. What's going on? this could be a neckline where the market could retest off from, which is in this manner. Before it, it could come back there before it would continue going all the way to the upside, right? So this is what could possibly happen. So I think from the higher time frame, which is the daily, I would like to see AUDCHF coming back down, right? If it's going to give us the long-term buys, but it's significant for it to come back down. And if you look at it, guys, from even before I could proceed, if you look at it, this is a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So we broke out of this level, but we didn't get the retest. It does not have to, though. But if we follow the market, or if you understand how the market moves, you would understand why I think a retest would be significant to actually confirm that the market is indeed going to go to the upside, right? So we're just going to have something like this if you don't see it, and then it's going to be clear as I go to the lower time frames. And then maybe if we can just up this a little bit more and then just have it like that. Right, so let's go to the 4 hours. So we're currently on the 4-hour time frame, right? I'm not going to dwell much on the previous structure that we drew on the daily time frame, which is this one over here on the side. This is what is happening, or this is what is important. So as you can see at the bottom, we're waiting for 1, 2, 3 and anticipated fourth touch over there. Hence, I think that the market will more potentially sell, right? Because you can also see the impulse move correction support, the key sharp. So that's what's going on. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So at the higher high. So it makes sense why the market could be a nice sell, guys, right? Does it make sense now? I hope it does. So if we look at it from this way now, because even if you look at how it's moving there, if it's indeed going to sell, then this ascending channel, because this is a pattern inside a pattern, which usually signals a reversal. And then if you also look at it, this could be a head and shoulder type of pattern. So yeah, let's go to the 1 hour time frame. So now that we're on the 1 hour time frame, so we don't necessarily need this one over here. It's just so you can see what's going on. So I'm just going to erase it, right? So we're just going to fix here the prices so we can understand what's going on. And then if you look at it now from this point of view, right, on AUDCHF, we're looking at the probability of dollar for the franc to be strong, Swiss franc to be strong, and the Australian dollar to be weak, because we are at the top of this trend line. We've got that resistance over there, and then we have this pattern inside a pattern, or even if we'd like, we can have it like this, right? We can have it like that, right? So what's going on here? Impulse move correction. So we can waiting for the next impulse to the downside. Right, so this is what's going on here. So in other words, guys, we do know that after every impulse move, we get a correction, right? That's something that we all know. Okay, so this is the daily level. But the 90% rule of this pattern will be here. Right? So as you can see already, we have broken out, which is impulse move correction, breakout. Got the retest. So what is it that you're expecting next? Continuation of sales to the downside. It's that simple, guys. If this one does not play out, then I don't know. If this does not work out, honestly, I don't know. I do not know why this would not work out, right? So this is what I'm looking at, guys, personally on AUDCHF. This is so clear to me. Perfect. So let's move on now to EURCHF. EURCHF. So on EURCHF, yeah, it's EURCHF. So on EURCHF, we have that high, low, high, low, right? Okay, sharp. And then we have that over there. and then okay, we don't necessarily need anything else. So if we just go inside now to understand what's going on, let us see what is it that we're expecting over there. So we just have a second touch there, right? So we also have that because we are in a sense we also have broken out. So this is giving me something similar to what I had just analyzed. So let's just go to the 1 hour time frame. So as you can see, guys, impulse move correction broke out retest, but we need to be careful here because we also broke out of this rising wedge. Right? So let's zoom a little bit closer so you can see what's going on. So now that we're here, impulse move correction. So if this is how we're supposed to draw it, then this is what I would like to see happening on Euro CHF. Just maybe a little push to the upside for a third touch, and then going furthermore to the downside. So this is what I would like to see happening on Euro CHF. Impulse move, higher high, higher low, maybe a higher high over there, and then go to the downside. So otherwise, this is a very nice pattern that I do see over here. So we're looking at the probability that the market is going to be a sell and actually go to the downside, right? So that's what I'm looking at. So let's move on now to AUDNZD. So I'm not necessarily going to break it all the way down as well. This is what's going on. We're in this ascending channel, so we have reached the top. So we have reached the top on AUDNZD. So now that we're here, there's two ways of looking at it. If you look at it from like this, then maybe as well, just maybe a small push to the upside, so that we can get those sells to the downside, right? Maybe if this is how we're supposed to draw it, then maybe the cells may not necessarily be at the top of that horizontal level over there. It could potentially maybe be there, which is a fake out and then pull back in and then go all the way down, right? So I think, guys, we have now reached the end of the video. I hope you watched up until the end. If you liked and enjoyed this video, please just do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe. I will most definitely see you guys in the next video.